Morning, everyone. So we're in the middle of playoff season for hockey and basketball right now, and I have really enjoyed watching the Sharks and the Warriors go on their respective playoff runs. Now, I know that probably not everybody here is a sports fan, but believe me when I tell you, these teams are really fun to watch. They play the games with amazing skill, and it's easy for a casual observer to see that these are elite athletes performing at the highest level. And you can tell the best players in the basketball games because they handle the ball effectively, they shoot well, they defend well. In hockey, the best players skate well, they control the puck, they shoot and pass effectively. These are the fundamentals of these sports. And the best players excel at the fundamentals. Now, I have almost no athletic ability whatsoever. But I'm a fan, right? And some of you, I'm sure, are fans. You can tell, if you see me watching a game, it's obvious that I'm a fan because I'll be cheering for my favorite team, the Sharks and the Warriors. But when I'm not watching a game, it's not so obvious. But I have a friend, his name is Tony. It's obvious that he's a fan all the time because he wears his Warriors getup all the time. The t-shirts and the jerseys and the shorts and the pants with logos. He's got his blue and gold beads around his neck and his socks, his lucky Warrior socks, the whole thing. Right? Now, I don't do that. I don't know if that makes me less of a fan than Tony. I don't know. The other day, I was on Almaden Expressway and I saw a pickup truck driving down the expressway, and there was this flag behind the cab, this gigantic flag with the Sharks logo. The Shark, it was flying behind. It was very majestic. It was very a sight to behold. I don't have anything like that. I don't have a giant Sharks flag. If I did, I probably wouldn't fly it behind my car as I drove around the city. I don't know if that makes me less of a fan than that fellow on the truck. Okay? Because the fundamentals of fandom are not as obvious, not as they are for playing the game. Some will say, to be a good fan, you have to be like Tony, you have to dress the part. Some will say, a good fan will fly the colors like that guy in the truck. And others will say, if you're like me, and you just watch the game and you cheer for your team, you're fundamentally solid as a fan. And it occurred to me that Catholicism is a little bit like this. There is no shortage of opinions of what constitutes a good Catholic. I've seen online, I've heard debates that what makes a good Catholic? Some will say a strict adherence to orthodoxy is critical in identifying oneself as a Catholic. Others will say a willingness, maybe an eagerness to admonish sinners is critical. And that's one of the spiritual works of mercy. Others will say a devotion to the Blessed Mother is the hallmark of a good Catholic. And all of these can be good tests. None of them are the exclusive tests. But in the gospel we heard this morning, Jesus gives us one of the most important tests of discipleship of Christianity. Love. Jesus says, as I have loved you, so you should love one another. And he makes that the test of discipleship, the test of Christianity, when he says, this is how people will know that you are my disciples, by the way that you love one another. And so the test of discipleship of Christianity is not how much you know or how right we are. It's how well we love. And Jesus does not give us this commandment in the abstract. He shows us what love is. He spent 3 years in his ministry showing us what love is. He says, as I have loved, so you should love. So it's worth asking, how has Jesus loved? Well, Jesus went to the fringes. He went to those who have been cast aside to listen, to heal, to welcome, to invite, to accept, to love. And Jesus stretched out his arms on the cross and gave his life for those he loves. So when Jesus says, love one another, he's not just talking about the people we know, the people in our group. He's talking about everyone. Talking about the people on the fringes, those who have been cast aside. In basketball, the fundamentals are dribbling, and passing and shooting. Hockey is skating and puck handling. Fandom is rooting for your team. For Christianity, the fundamental is love. Now, if you listen to sports talk radio at all, you'll know that sports fans really like to evaluate and criticize the quality of play of teams and players, and the quality of fandom of fans. And sometimes that criticism can be a little mean-spirited. If you pay attention to Catholic social media, you may notice that some Catholics like to do that same thing. Like to evaluate and criticize the quality of other people's Catholicism, their faith, their Christianity. And sometimes that criticism can be a little mean-spirited. I've even read articles that criticize the Holy Father, Pope Francis, say he's not a good Catholic. And the irony is that so often the loudest voices seem to miss that important test that Jesus tells us about today, love, in their way that they analyze and the way they deliver their criticism. This morning, we gather together as a community of faith to pray, to listen to God's holy word, to be nourished by the precious body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. Let us rededicate ourselves this morning to that fundamental concept of Christianity. Let us rededicate ourselves to love.